I took the night shift at the elevator emergency line because nobody else wanted it. The job paid a little more, and it was quiet. Most calls came from drunk people stuck between floors, office workers who panicked when the doors didn't open immediately, or security guards testing the system. You talked them down, contacted maintenance, logged the incident, and moved on. The system handled every elevator in the city residential buildings, offices, hospitals, parking garages. Each elevator had an ID, a building code, maintenance history, and status flags. Everything was standardized, clean, predictable. At night, predictability mattered. My shift ran from midnight to 6 a.m. I worked alone in a small room with no windows, just monitors and a headset. The lights were dim by design-less eye strain, they said. The first strange call came just after 1 a.m. The line connected automatically, without the usual alert tone. I cleared my throat and answered with the script. Elevator emergency services, please stay calm. Can you tell me which floor you're on? There was breathing on the line, slow, controlled, not panicked. I don't know, a man said. That's okay, I replied. Do you know the building name or address? A pause. I don't think it has one anymore, he said. I glanced at the call panel. No elevator ID, no building code, no location data. That wasn't supposed to happen. Even failed systems still transmitted something. Sir, I said, keeping my voice steady, are you inside an elevator right now? Yes, he replied. But it's not moving. Are the doors open or closed? They're closed, he said. They've been closed for a long time. How long? I asked. Another pause. Longer than they should be, he said. That answer wasn't useful, but I typed it anyway. We were trained to log exactly what the caller said. Caller reports. Doors closed longer than they should be. Do you see a floor indicator? I asked. No, he said. It went dark. I felt a small flicker of concern. Power failures happened, but backup systems should have kicked in. Do you see any emergency lighting? I asked. Yes, he said. It's red. Emergency lights are white or green. Red isn't standard. Sir, I said slowly, what building are you in? I don't think it's standing, he said. My fingers hesitated over the keyboard. What do you mean? I asked. I remember when it fell, he said. I don't remember getting out. A chill moved through me. Sir, I need you to focus, I said. Can you press the emergency button inside the elevator? It's already pressed, he replied. That's why you're here. The call cut off. Not disconnected. Just ended. No click. No tone. I stared at the screen. The call duration read 0 o'clock. That was wrong. Calls that short usually meant a failed connection, but even those showed a few seconds. 0 meant the system never registered the call as active. I flagged it and moved on. The second call came the next night. 1:13 a.m. This time, the system displayed an elevator ID. Elevator ID, H4472 building. Status, out of service, the building field was blank. I answered, Elevator emergency services. Are you inside the elevator? Yes, the same man said. My stomach tightened. You called last night, I said. I hoped you would answer again, he replied. I pulled up the elevator ID. Maintenance history populated automatically. Last inspection. 8 years ago. Last maintenance request. Closed reason. Building demolished. I stared at the screen. Sir, I said carefully, the building associated with this elevator no longer exists. I know, he said. That's why I called. My heart started to race. Can you tell me what floor you're on? I asked. There used to be 7, he said. Now there's only space. What do you see when you look out the doors? I asked. Nothing, he said. But I can hear the street sometimes. That's good, I said automatically. That means I can hear cars driving where the lobby was, he continued. Above me, my hands felt cold. Sir, I said, I'm going to try to locate your elevator manually. I typed commands I rarely used. Diagnostic queries. Legacy searches. The system hesitated. Then, slowly, a map loaded. Not a building, a vacant lot. Coordinates matched an address I recognized. An office complex that had been demolished after a structural collapse years ago. I remembered the news footage. Dust clouds, fire trucks, reporters talking about casualties. I checked the date. 6 years ago. Sir, I said quietly, do you remember how you got into the elevator? A long silence. Then, softly, I remember going down. Down from where? I asked. From my office, he said. I was working late. My throat tightened. There was a sound, he continued, like the building sighed. I didn't interrupt. The elevator dropped, he said, not fast. Just enough to feel wrong.
I glanced at the status panel. Elevator position below ground level, that wasn't possible. Elevators don't exist below their shafts. I think I'm still moving, he said. Very slowly. The system clock flickered. 1:17 a.m., sir, I said, forcing calm into my voice. Help is not far away. I need you to stay on the line with me. I can't, he replied. Why not? Because it only connects for a little while, he said. Then it closes again. The call ended. This time, the log updated on its own. Call status, closed reason, structure removed time of incident. 1:17 I leaned back in my chair, breathing hard. The room felt smaller. I checked the city records again. The demolition date, the casualty report. One person had been listed as missing. Not confirmed dead, just missing. I didn't sleep that morning. By the third night, I was waiting for the call. It came at 1:17 a.m. again. Different elevator, different ID, same status. Building. Demolished, and when I answered, a woman's voice whispered into my headset. It's going down again.
It's going down again, the woman whispered. Her voice wasn't panicked. That scared me more than screaming ever could. Ma'am, I said, I need you to stay calm. Are you inside an elevator right now? Yes, she replied. It smells like dust. I pulled up the system panel. Elevator ID, R1109 building. Status. Out of service, another blank building field. Can you tell me what floor you were on when you entered? I asked. I don't remember entering, she said. I remember leaving. Leaving where? The hospital, she said. My shift ended. My fingers froze above the keyboard. The hospital she named had been shut down after a fire 7 years earlier. I remember that one too. Night shift, electrical failure. Evacuation that came too late. I checked the database. Structure status. Condemned demolition. Completed. Mom, I said carefully. Do you see any numbers inside the elevator? Yes, she said. But they don't light up anymore. Do you see doors? Yes. Are they opening? No, she said. They stopped doing that a long time ago. The system updated on its own. Elevator position. Between levels, between which levels wasn't specified. Can you hear anything outside the elevator? I asked. Sometimes, she said. Footsteps, then traffic. Then nothing. That pattern was familiar now. Ma'am, I said, do you know what year it is? A pause. I think it's before the fire, she said. The call crackled, then ended. The log filled itself in. Call status, closed reason, structure removed time of incident, 1:17 again, always 1:17. I stopped pretending it was coincidence. I started cross-referencing every elevator ID that called in during my shift. Everyone with missing building data. Everyone marked out of service. They all shared the same traits. Buildings no longer standing, incidents that happened at night, at least one person unaccounted for, elevators last reported in motion. The calls weren't random. They were grouped, and they were getting closer together. On the fourth night, I received 3 calls within 10 minutes. Different voices, different elevators, same slow descent. One man said the floor numbers were peeling off the panel. One woman said the walls felt warmer the deeper it went. Another caller didn't speak at all. He just breathed, slowly, like he was conserving air. Between calls, I tried escalating the issue. I flagged the system. I messaged my supervisor. I filed an internal anomaly report. No response. The dashboard showed all systems green. All lines operational. At 2:04 a.m., the system displayed something new. A counter. Active descents. 4. I stared at it. Every time a call came in, the number increased. When a call ended, the number dropped, but never to 0. There was always at least one active descent. What happens when it reaches 0? I whispered to myself. I didn't want to know. The next call connected without a tone. This time, the voice was familiar. The man from the first night. I told you it closes, he said. Where does it go? I asked. Down, he replied. It always goes down. Why do the calls come to me? I asked. Because you answer, he said. Most operators hang up when the building field is blank. My stomach dropped. You know that? I asked. Yes, he replied. We can feel it when the line disconnects. I tightened my grip on the headset. What happens then? I asked. There's no sound, he said. No signal. No confirmation. I glanced at the counter. Active descents. 6. Is there a way out? I asked. He paused. There used to be, he said. When the building was still there. The call ended. The counter dropped to 5. I realized something then. The elevators weren't moving through space. They were moving through time, or rather through the absence of it. These people weren't calling from demolished buildings. They were calling from the moment the building stopped existing. The elevator shaft was the last enclosed space that hadn't resolved. A sealed container, a delay, and the system was designed to close delays. I leaned back in my chair, heart pounding. At 2:33 a.m., a new type of alert appeared. System notice. Operator intervention required below it. Manual override available. I clicked it. A warning popped up. Override will finalize all active descents. I swallowed. Finalize. The word felt heavy. I hovered over the confirmation button. Another call came in, a child's voice. I froze. Then he spoke again. I'm not a child, the voice corrected calmly. I just sound like one. Relief and dread collided in my chest. Please, the voice said. Don't disconnect. I won't, I said quickly. Good, he replied. That buys time. For what? I asked. For the building to finish forgetting us, he said. My hands trembled. The counter read. Active descents. 9. You're holding them open, I said. Yes, he replied. By listening? And if I stop? The system closes everything at once, he said. That's why they don't let operators see this screen. I stared at the override button. What happens to you if I press it? I asked. We stop moving, he said. Wherever we are. That doesn't answer the question, I said. It does, he replied. The call crackled. I need you to choose, he said. Because the counter keeps rising, I looked at the clock. 2:59 a.m. active descents. 12. For the first time since I took this job, I understood my role. I wasn't there to rescue anyone. I was there to decide when things ended, and the system had finally handed me the switch. I stared at the override button. Finalize all active descents. The counter kept ticking upward. Active descents. 13. The calls were no longer coming one by one. They overlapped now. The system queued them silently, stacking them behind the line I was already on. I could feel it not emotionally, but physically, like pressure behind my eyes, like the room was filling with sound that hadn't played yet. You don't have to rush, the voice said calmly. But you don't have forever. Who are you? I asked. There was a faint smile in his tone. I was maintenance once. I blinked. You worked on elevators? Yes, he said. I was called in when the building started settling. They said the shafts were safe. They were wrong. The counter flickered. Active descents. 14. Why does the system exist? I asked. Because empty space doesn't resolve itself, he said. Someone has to close it. I thought about that. Buildings don't disappear instantly. They collapse. They burn. They're torn down piece by piece. But elevator shafts are different. Vertical, enclosed. Last to go. A delay. What happens if I do nothing? I asked. The voice paused. Then the counter reaches capacity, he said. And the system closes without asking. And what does that look like? I asked. For you? He said. It looks like silence. For them? I asked. They stopped moving, he replied. Wherever they are, I swallowed. I look at the call log. Names weren't listed. Just elevator IDs. Building codes that no longer map to anything. Dates that all ended the same way. Missing. Unconfirmed. Closed. I noticed something else. Each active descent had a duration. Some had been going for years. What determines when a descent ends? I asked. Someone answering, he said. Or no one left to answer. I leaned back in my chair. So operators like me, we slow it down. Yes, he said. You stretch the moment. And if I press the button, I said, I end it for all of them. Yes, he replied. At once, the counter jumped. Active descents. 16, a new warning appeared. System capacity approaching below it in smaller text. Automatic finalization imminent. How many operators have done this before? I asked. Enough, he said. And what happened to them? They went home, he replied. I never heard another call. I closed my eyes. For the first time, I thought about the people on the other end not as voices, but as moments. Frozen instants that never resolved. People who never reached the bottom or the top, stuck in between. You said listening buys time, I said. Yes, he replied. But it makes the counter rise, I said. Yes. So no matter what I do, it ends, I said. Eventually, he agreed. The clock on the wall ticked past 3:17 a.m. The counter stopped rising. Active descents. 17. The system froze. Then another alert appeared. Automatic finalization paused reason. Operator present, I laughed softly. I couldn't help it. So that's it, I said. As long as I'm here, it waits. Yes, the voice said. That's why the room has no windows. I looked around. I hadn't noticed before, but the door behind me no longer had a handle on the inside. Just a flat panel. When did that change? I asked. It didn't, he said. You just didn't need it before. I stood up and walked to the door anyway. It didn't open. I went back to my seat. The override button pulsed faintly now, like a heartbeat. If I press it, I said, what happens to me? You stop being needed, he replied. That's not an answer. You go home, he said, or at least, you don't stay here. I thought about all the nights I'd spent alone in this room, all the calls that ended at 1:17, all the buildings that were gone but not finished. I looked at the counter one last time. 17 unresolved spaces. Will they feel it? I asked. No, he said. That's the point. I placed my hand on the mouse. My finger hovered over the confirmation. You should know, the voice added, that once you do this, the system will start looking for someone else. When? I asked. Not immediately, he said. There will be a gap. A gap for what? For buildings to fall, he replied. I nodded. That made sense. I clicked confirm. No alarms. No sounds. No screaming. Just a quiet update scrolling line by line. Finalizing descent 1/17. Finalizing descent 2/17. The counter ticked down slowly. I felt lighter with each number. By the time it reached 0, my headset was silent. The lights dimmed, then returned to normal. A final message appeared. System status. Stable operator status. Closed below it. Thank you for your service. The door unlocked. I walked out of the room without looking back. The building felt ordinary in the daylight. Too ordinary. Like it had never held anything strange at all. I quit that day. The company shut down the elevator emergency line a year later. Budget cuts. Automation. Low call volume. That's what the report said. Sometimes, when I pass a construction site late at night, I look at the empty shafts before the elevators are installed. Dark vertical spaces waiting to be enclosed. I wonder how long it takes before they need a line. before someone has to listen. And I'm glad, deeply glad that when that happens, it won't be my headset lighting up anymore.